Alcantara. Alex, we're being recorded. I'm delighted to welcome Alex Alcantara. Alex was a FINBA graduate from 2023, and I will let him introduce himself and talk a little bit about what he's doing now. He's going to talk today. Once he's done that, he's going to talk today about ticketing, and I'll just read out the overview of the talk. So it's all around the power of focus, niching your way to partnerships in sports through ticketing. So ticketing has evolved far beyond simple event and match access. It's become a strategic pathway into high-value partnerships across global sporting events. For sponsors, ticketing and hospitality rights sit alongside brand and intellectual property, venue branding, digital activations, and experiential opportunities are some of the most valuable components of partnership deals. These assets support commercial growth, customer engagement, and reward top performance within organizations, yet remain difficult to measure consistently. This session is going to explore how sponsors, with the support of sport agencies, can maximize the value and return of assets, particularly ticketing and hospitality within partnerships, and why mastering this niche has become a competitive advantage across the sports industry, including the rapidly expanding of sport partnerships in the GCC region. So we're going to have a really interesting talk today by Alex, who's going to focus on this particular issue. So over to you, Alex. Alex will present, and then we can take questions at the end. So thank you ever so much for joining us, Alex. Thank you everyone for joining today, and yeah, over to you.
Thank you, Geoff. Good afternoon, everyone. It's already evening here in Dubai. Yeah, just wanted to present a little of my experience, and also why do I consider that ticketing is now more relevant every day, specifically in partnerships. So the title that I chose is The Power of Focus, niching your way to partnerships in sports through ticketing. I know we are listening a lot about partnerships these days, and everyone wants to jump into partnerships, and I think now, based on my experience, we have hundreds of people, graduates, thinking the same. But I believe, and I can say on my own experience, that having a strategy is a really a good approach to get into this field. Just a little about my journey. I've been on the first square on the left. You see that I've been already been in some sporting events. Like I started my journey in Lima, 2019. It was in my home country in Peru. Then it was a very good experience, and then I got the opportunity to network with high-profile members, and that led me the opportunity to go to the Tokyo Olympics. I was there for around 2 years because of COVID. Well, yeah, because it was just supposed to be just for a few months, but I ended up around for 2 years. Then when I decided to go further and to enroll in the FINBA program, it allows me to join two events. One event which was happening at that time, it was the World Gymnastics Championship in Liverpool. Based on my experience in accreditation, I got a role in the same department. And then I got a really important, a very interesting role in LFC as a hospitality host. That's my suggestion to everyone, to take as many roles as possible, because you'll never know when you are finding opportunities, because you'll have different people who are also trying to seek talent as well. So you never know, an opportunity can come up. And yeah, I invite everyone to take similar roles, even though they are small. Everyone, each role will lead you to the next. That's usually my way of thinking. Because of FINBA, I was able to network with some other agencies, and this is how I ended up in the agency environment. The first one where I started my ticketing journey, it was with Iluka, handling different clients, all of them 500 Forbes clients, like Intel, McDonald's, Atos, uh, Adidas, yeah, and then when I reached to Wasserman as a senior ticketing manager, I was just focused on one big client, which was Unilever. And now with that, I'm a director of ticketing and guest comms in 160 over 90 here in Dubai. I'm in charge of managing the account of DP World. So this session is going to be um, is going to be divided in these different sections. So I'm going to try to be, I'm aware that we have a combination here between alumni and also students, but I just wanted to reach out to everyone and have the same language. And also that will also to help to understand this session. So I'm going to go through first two key glossary, very simple terms that you may be aware already. For some people who are not in partnerships, that also will help them to understand some concepts. Partnership landscape uh, in 2025 between GCC countries, which are the Gulf Cooperation Council in the Middle East countries, and Europe. The next is going to be why ticketing focus matters. Why is I'm proposing or suggesting everyone to have an approach and a strategy to see ticketing in a separate way as the rest of the partnerships. Sports marketing agencies' roles. What is our, like, based on my experience, what's mainly our role in the partnerships environment? And then I'm going to just to go through some cases just for make it more practical, and so everyone's can understand based on a real life scenario. So we have I mentioned too Unilever and FIFA for the World Cup, and DP World and McLaren. Yeah, I'm sorry if I'm not talking completely about football, but yeah, this is what I'm currently working on. So we have different type of partnership, but I believe this is the most important. And with that, I believe it's going to be the more relevant for the alumni and students to hear. Then I'll propose some takeaways, and then we can go for Q&As. So sorry if it's a little bit text intensive, but just wanted to draft some key terms that are going to help us to understand this presentation. And they are very basic because we hear about partnerships, but partnerships and sponsorships, which go second. So many people use it interchangeably, but sometimes we don't know exactly the difference. So I wanted to use some formal and academic references. And yes, and there is a book called Sponsorships in Marketing, in the edition 2025, and this described as a collaborative agreement, which is in between a brand and a rights holder, both commit to create a mutual value. The difference between a partnerships and a sponsorship is between the level of integration. Partnership is something that two entities decided to work together on a long relationship, developing more than just a transactional operation between, like, I'm sponsoring for an event, you give me publicity. So it goes beyond because it goes both to develop value, and sponsorship on the second term is a more commercial, and as I say, as a transactional, where, and I give an example how Juventus also was, Juventus and Jeep, it was, there was a sponsorship deal for a shared sponsorship running to 2028. Usually when we talk about sponsorships, we mostly is not exclusively, but mostly relates to shared logos, perimeter boards, stadium branding, digital assets, and hospitality. While partnerships, it covers more aspects. It covers also the same, but it can go even beyond. It can go even to develop some hospitality programs, so develop some uh, additional cooperation or exchange of technology or or different aspects. So it's a wider term. So brand awareness. So everyone knows that that is how easy you can recall a brand. Then we have naming rights, which is the entitlement of a sponsor to name a venue, a stadium, event, or a competition. So we have many of them. I think the most remarkable, it would be how Spotify renamed it Barcelona Stadium. So it's now one of the most ambitious and classic examples of naming rights. Rights and benefits. This is something that we see. I think that's the main word that we see in partnerships because that's the list of different entitlements that is granted to one sponsor. We have different, but I just drafted some the most common. For example, exclusivity, logo placement, media exposure, hospitality tickets, content rights, activation opportunities. But it goes even beyond that because the opportunities for collaboration in partnerships are endless. So yeah, these are the most common in the sports environment. Ticketing, we are narrowing down our rights and benefits because this is what I wanted to get to. So ticketing, it's also a part or a type of right of benefits, but I wanted to just to separate um, because that's also an entitlement. And it goes beyond an access, go beyond having just a premium seating or developing a hospitality area or having exclusive experiences. It goes beyond, and I will explain how. Property, it relates to the entity, event, team, athlete, program, or competition available for sponsorship. So anything, any athlete or any event or any tournament that it can be subject to be a sponsor, it's called a property. It can be Premier League, for example. It can be an athlete. It can be um, any 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 events like the FIFA World Cup, for example. So so I also provided some examples there. And right holders, so they are the owners of these uh, entitlements or the owners of these benefits like FIFA, UEFA, ICC, Formula One, the ones that provides the benefits to the sponsors. Just wanted to provide some context in 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 the last years, but the most recent, the biggest one, partnerships deals that I was able to hear are the one that from Manchester City and Puma because they broke like £1 billion over pounds for 10 years. It was a 2025 kit and apparel supplier deal. And yeah, and I think that was the highest value partnerships deal. Then we have, and as I mentioned before, the Barcelona and Spotify was it was not only naming rights, but also it was a global brand collaboration, and in total it surpasses the 460 million euros. And here, and also another example closer to GCC region, we have FIFA, Saudi Aramco. Saudi now is in the spotlight during these years. Saudi, for us here in GCC, is the future. It's like that the big market has awakened and is growing so fast and is doing most of the sports calendars for 2025 and for the next years are happening in Saudi. So FIFA has already foreseen this And that's why it's not a coincidence that it has been nominated or has been already confirmed as the host for FIFA World Cup 2034. And partnerships are happening, and one of them is with Saudi Aramco, which is a major worldwide partner now. Is covering now different events like the 2026 FIFA World Cup for men's and the 2027 Women World Cup in Brazil. And it's a deal that is worth more than 100 million US dollars per year. So it's very ambitious, and yeah, it's not strange to hear more about Saudi, their stadium projects that are from when you see those images, looks like another planet, but they are super ambitious, and the level of investment from this country are massive. So yeah, definitely I will invite everyone to do research or to look this market with with interest, because yeah, in my opinion, is where the future will is. So why ticketing focus matters in partnerships? Yeah, this is my point. So because you have lists of different partnerships, of different rights and benefits because of the partnerships between a sponsor and a right holder. But okay, but why ticketing? Why I'm choosing just one of them? Because it serves as it has multiple functions that it can help a sponsor to grow or to achieve their targets, because it has a component of being useful for getting data access, because um, you can, through ticketing, you can source the fan behavior. You can also have access data and inventories. It also serves as a soft marketing, because it's it also helps you to promote or to have a passive signage of your brand, and also it helps to integrate um, partnerships in a much closer way. For example, FIFA logo and Unilever logo, they have now they created a composite logos for the next or for the upcoming World Cups, men's and women's World Cups. So this level of integration is also helping, and it's also reflected on tickets. It's also a key source of income, because maybe it's not the main source of income for the biggest clubs or for the biggest events, because in those cases is usually the broadcasting rights, the main source of revenue. But for small clubs or for small events, ticket is still the main source of revenue. So it still plays a really important role in the success of an event or a partnership deal. The last point is also a business development opportunity, because this is more related to my current role, because when we have a partnerships deal, for example, you have a Unilever FIFA World Cup partnerships. Usually 90% of, or even more, I guess, 95% of all the different partnerships deals, they receive free tickets, or they receive, we call it your allocation, your your contractual allocation. So you receive a contractual allocation of a specific number of tickets per match, or it can be any event. It can be Olympics, or it can be FIFA World Cup. But in this case, FIFA World Cup. So you receive uh, um, you receive general attendance tickets. You receive box suites, the different levels of hospitality you may have. So the company or any sponsor um, now is responsible for managing this allocation. So they can use this ticketing allocation in different ways. So one of them, for example, is to they can promote internal performance, internal like a way of reward the best performers in their team. It can also help um, to invite top customers or top potential clients, um, or also it can help to invite regional leaders from each region. Yeah, that's what we usually do. We invite a top senior or senior members from Unilever across the globe. All of them coming to the World Cup. So you can choose or you can plan a strategy based on your ticket allocation, which is extremely powerful because you can set apart from having the rest of your benefits, ticketing or having a successful and a well planned and also well executed guest program can help you to generate revenue in the same way as the rest alone. It can help you to get a similar investment with compared with all your rest of benefits combined. So it's a really powerful tool that wanted to highlight here. So where or how marketing agencies, sport marketing agencies, comes to the equation? Uh, because we know that sponsors when they receive their benefits, their right hand benefits, we like we understand that they are not an expert managing these rights and benefits. So we can, because it's not their core business. We have Adidas, we have Coca-Cola, we have Hyundai, Aramco, all of them, we know what they are their core businesses, but receiving those valuable list of assets, um, so they have to rely on a sports marketing agency like Wasserman, Octagon, 160 over 90 Sports, Sports 5. There are many in the market, especially in the UK. We have multiple agencies uh, doing this role. So we are like intermediaries between sponsors and right holders, which in this case it can be FIFA or any event owner. So we are the ones that analyze the success of each benefit or each right and benefit. We plan, we execute, and we evaluate the success of and also determine the whole ROI of the partnerships. So it's important to to be or to have our strategy plans very well aligned with the sponsor, because if if the sponsor is not part of the strategy, so we are not reaching the goals, and yeah, we that's this is where our ROI it can be very low. But yeah, I'll get to this point in the next slide. So I wanted to share with you some real examples of what is a rights and benefits list that was resulted from Unilever and FIFA World Cup for next year. So we have this is just a summary. We have a different type of rights and benefits, brands and IP, official sponsor, like being able to use this this phrase, like we are official sponsor status across different categories. Use the IP, the intellectual property on different products, campaigns, or limited editions, and to access image or or footage library on music elements. So you have also visibility. Visibility is always in the venues. LED boards, venue, media backdrops, giant screen ads, presence in official publications, and priority for broadcast sponsorships, airtime. Ticketing and hospitality. So what we have for any, not only for Unilever, but this is like a template for any sponsor that has partnered with FIFA World Cup 2026. They will receive a certain amount of VIP tickets. They will receive Cat 1 tickets, which is the top type of general attendance tickets. Is still a GA ticket, but is top because there are three levels of exclusivity with these GA tickets. Cat 1 is the highest. So I believe they receive around 100 Cat 1 tickets per match. So this is just for you to have an idea. And each of them will be valued around 2,000 US dollars approximately. And VIP, yeah, VIP it's even higher. What you have in value, because you receive usually most of the sponsors receive an entire box for each sponsor, with the possibility as well to buy more with a discounted price. So this is some specific benefits that only sponsors might have. So they have complimentary and premium hospitality, skybox access, accreditations, and parking. Experiential, it's also related to hospitality because all the guests, VIP guests that attend the VIP areas of the stadium. So usually the organization will also share or will select carefully which guests are going to have really premium experiences during the World Cup or any other event. For example, a stadium pre-match, play on the pitch, is in a stadium activations, fan festival, mascot use, premium FIFA Legends appearances, and trophy access. So this is in a small numbers compared with the number of tickets, but it's also part of the rights and benefits that is part of the whole partnerships deal. Digital, so the possibility to use or to do digital activations, to have different uh, uh, strategies on social media, to use the capacity to use the FIFA logo in their different promotions or advertisements that are released online. Product supply, very easy, gifting, merchandising. CSR, this is social responsibility and data, access to FIFA CSR initiatives, sustainability opportunities, research reports, and audience data insights. So as you see, the whole partnerships deal is a comprehensive set of different benefits that doesn't go only just a transactional deal, but also it helps to enhance the value of the sponsor as well, because the way at the end of each, for example, VIP or hospitality program, so we send surveys to these guests to try to see if we achieve our goals, which is to try to be in there now to be more present in their memories when they think about our brand. If they are completely sure, maybe when it's a very huge brand like Unilever or Coca-Cola, maybe you won't have any problem to know what is the core business. But when it comes to some other brands that they are not completely linked to, or they don't sell directly to the public, like for example DP World, which is a client that I'm working on. So this goes to usually works with big companies, but doesn't go to the final client. So at the end of each VIP program, we always through service, we usually get the information. If you now understand what is our core business, what are your first thoughts when you hear about DP World, if that makes sense. So our second case, our case study, it's related to my current project, which is between DP World and McLaren. By the way, is happening. We have a racing happening in Abu Dhabi this Thursday. Now it's happening on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Yes, for 3 days. So this is something that is this information is fresh and it's is a real life examples on how we manage rights and benefits for this really big or this valuable partnerships deal. So we have the contractual rights that we have because of these partnerships. It's events, access, and experiences. So we have we have access to all the daily races, racing days, race watches, and also we have some very VIP experiences like garage tours, hot laps, grid access, motorhome dinners. Um, so yeah, that's the type of premium experience that we have for super VIP guests. Apex program, this is also an additional super premium type of benefits, which is we for those lucky guests that are attends to our guest programs, we have a golf days. We invite them to for a very quick golf session. Just we have just a very limited amounts, like just 3 groups of 16 people. Apart from the daily racing days. We also have, as part of the benefits, branding rights. We usually have in the chassis side. We have driver kits deals as well. We have additional assets like partner stock, merchandise, transporter, trackside infrastructure, garage branding, communications. Obviously, we are part of these of these partnerships. So we definitely we have the right to promote our partnerships in online or any publicity that can be also outside. Appearances. So we have exclusivity to bring drivers, Formula One drivers to our VIP hospitality programs as well. We have the opportunity to choose ambassadors for our VIP programs, management as well. So we can use these benefits of filming or having different type of recording in our hospitality programs, and also to release them or to broadcast them in our social media. So when I try to focus here on ticketing, and you hear me saying a lot about ticketing and guest programs and VIP programs, and I also mentioned that the values or the benefits of the ticket of a successful and well-planned ticketing management can overtake the whole list of benefits that are part of the entitlement of the partnerships. And I can say because of for experience that companies now are looking for professionals exclusively just to handle the ticketing side of things. They have usually people who manage uh, the whole list of partnerships, the whole set of right and benefits, and just a specific team that manage exclusively the ticketing side of things. Because the in and this is something that I notice in different agencies in UK, also here in Dubai, um, that the specialization in partnerships has reached to a specific point where they are looking for specialists uh, just exclusively to handle specific rights and benefits, and especially ticketing. Now, because of this specialization, this is where I was trying to get to when I was suggesting that the power of focus, because focusing in ticketing has somehow allowed me to to join the partnerships environment in sports. And ticketing now is a pivot point in the general ROI deal. And this specificity attracts different partners tired of generic deals. Just like it's not like just a general sponsorship deal where someone pays to be on the front T-shirt of one specific football club, but it goes beyond. So it also has career applications because being niche, specifically in partnerships, it helps either alumni, it helps students or also alumni to find opportunities because a good ticketing proposal also it can definitely affect the general ROI of the partnerships. So yeah, basically it was this small presentation. Yep,
Right.
happy any QA.
Thank you ever so much, Alex. That was really interesting. It's not an area that I know anything about. So you know, I've sat there and I felt I've learned a lot from you just listening to your presentation. I guess. I mean, I'm happy to open the floor to the colleagues that are in the room. But just one quick question from me. I've got a couple of others I can follow up on later, but after if I get the chance. But just tell us a little bit about the organization that you work for as well, Alex, at the moment. So it's Dubai. No, what's the name of the company? 160 over 90.
Exactly.
That's
Yeah,
it.
because that's your hypertension when you are that's your pulse when you are excited. And this is when how they come up with this name. And it's
Yeah.
part of the Endeavor Group, which is a really multinational group
Yeah.
worldwide.
Okay. And yeah, and is 160 over 90 quite a niche specialist then? Are you guys quite focused on the ticketing aspect?
Exactly, exactly. And especially when with uh, a big client like DP World, which has which is the partner of different or 80 events
Okay.
across the year. So they have a massive number of ticketing allocations and hospitality programs, all of them dedicated to invite just VIP people.
Okay. Well, there's a couple of things I'd like to follow up on if I get a chance, but I'm more than happy to open up the floor. I know there's not been many of us on the call today, but if there's any of you that have any questions for Alex, then here's your chance. If
I
anybody
had
wants to come in.
a
Oh,
question if possible.
yeah, come in,
Hmm.
Cameron.
I'll put my camera so you can see me. Yeah, thanks very much for that, Alex. It was really interesting. And you've spoken a lot about the activities to promote and nurture partnerships. And what I was wondering is, could you explain, please, what is the usual pathway for, say, instigating a new partnership in the first instance? Would it commonly be that potential partner approaches 160 over 90 and you support them and introduce them to, say, FIFA or a football club? Or is it the other way around where the club actually approaches you to seek potential commercial partners?
You see how is the whole journey to be.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's usually when I remember when I just landed on my first role in ticketing, it was they were looking for someone with a specific profile or more in data and guess data management. And and then this is how I landed because when you are dealing with different guests, so a GDPR component is very important to be aware. Um, you also have you need to have hospitality experiences in order to understand the whole ecosystem of any hospitality program. And this is how this set of experiences led me or allowed me to grow up in this whole these different positions. And now that I'm here in 160 over 90, yes, it's because of my experience dealing with different clients like Unilever, Atos, yeah, Adidas. Yeah, basically just like that. Yeah. Is that answer your questions, or is there anything I may?
Perhaps maybe a follow-up to that. So you take, for example, you're working with DP World, a McLaren.
Hmm.
So would DP World initially approach 160 over 90 with a view to potentially working with a partner such as McLaren or someone else? Or
Uh,
are you actively sort of sourcing um,
mm,
DP World and other potential partners?
yes. We usually have another department called strategy, which usually they present the highest potential ROIs, partnerships portfolio that the client has to approve. So we come
Okay.
up with a whole portfolio of different potential partnerships that can increase the ROI of the organization. So eventually, your client is the one that has to take the last call and to
Okay.
see, okay, yeah, so we are happy to explore this this opportunity. So, but yeah, it's agencies the ones that present the proposal for partnership.
Okay. So and you're actively creating like a short list of
Mm.
potential opportunities, and then the client decides their preferred partners. Okay.
Yeah,
Thank
this
you.
is how
Yeah.
it works in most of the organizations. Yeah.
Thanks. That does answer the question.
Thanks, Cameron. Does anybody else have a question for Alex? Can I, one of the things, can I pick up on, Alex? You just mentioned before you've got a list of about 80 events that obviously you work with them.
Mm.
So are many of these, because some of the examples you gave, with the World Cup and with McLaren, at the F1 level, these are global events, these are massive events, and obviously this model I can understand how it works and how it's important for the big mega events. But what about smaller events? Further down the scale, is there the same? Um, does this model still stand? Can you develop a sort of a niche ticketing strategy and partnership strategy for the smaller events as you obviously can for the bigger ones?
Yeah, that's a very good question because definitely uh, when I say 80, it is a whole mix of huge and very it was that it involves many millions of dollars in the partnerships deal. But also we have some small events, regional events. So we have an internal like classifications like a top or gold tier events, silver tier events, bronze tier events. And also we have an additional layer, which is regional events. This also, it can vary per, per organization, but this is how, what I saw from my experience, this is a common practice between organizations. They arrange or they categorize their different uh, activations. We call it activations to the fact that we are participating somehow in an event. And the level of investment that that the company or the organization needs to do in that specific event, that will determine if it's a tier one, a tier gold, or a silver tier, or a bronze tier. Based on that, based on the tiers, or based on any classification that any company can do, they can provide the number of resources. That means the number of how big is going to be the team, how the different departments, what's going to be uh, how close the other departments are going to be, or if we are sending some people on site. So if the World Cup is happening in the US, are we sending people on site or like for delivering the event, or if it's on a small one, or if we have if our partnerships deal with FIFA World Cup, even though that is a massive event, but it also can happen that the partnership deal is a small with a small company, because you have the situation where you have individual states having individual partnerships with local companies. For these smaller or regional partnerships, so you can define your level of investment. How many people are you sending? If you are sending on site, or if you are managing remotely, or if you are sending what type of guests, or if you are, so you decide what is your scope, depending on your, uh, on your level of investment. But yeah, there is a whole variety, and all the organizations, they classify their different participations based on the level of investment.
Yeah. Okay. No, great. Thank you. Just one sort of follow up. It's not really related to that, but what are the risks involved with any partnership? What are the risks?
Yes. I will say that, for example, I got a really interesting case. I was overseeing Atos participated. I was handling Atos as the first time, uh, well, as a partner, as a sponsor of the UEFA Euros in 2024 in Berlin. And Atos decided to reward their best performers, for example. And they decided to allocate, they got an entitlement from UEFA around 40 or 50 tickets in a category one. So one of the best general attendance tickets to Atos as a sponsor. It was, but one of the risks is if you don't plan who are going to be your guests, or if you don't plan or define who are going to be the people who are going to attend, the worst scenario is that you won't have uh, people sitting there, and you will see plenty of empty seats, which is the worst nightmare of any sponsor, because that represents a lot of money that is wasted, and also it has a really bad impression on the rights holder, because the rights holder will say, I'm giving you my allocation, which is tickets, and they are really on demand tickets. And many people will pay even double, but I'm allocating to you, your company, but you are not using them completely, and you are failing to do it. And this is live, because, when the match is live, and you'll see that there is a really empty row of seats. So that's something that is really awful, and it's not a worst nightmare. And also that can represent that the next event, so the event won't like to participate with you anymore.
That's interesting, because obviously it's a risk generally for sports organisations, events, or clubs, in terms of empty seats. And but yeah, it's interesting. It's an issue as well for the VIP and the partnerships as well. We've got to get those people in to to at least be seen in front of the cameras. That's often something I notice at Wimbledon, when you see some of the VIP areas at the end of centre court or court number one. They're certain, there's certainly a lot of empty seats in those areas, particularly in the earlier round matches. But yeah, I can imagine
That's
it's a
horrible,
challenge.
especially when the organization says we are sold out, but when the camera approach to see the stands, you see
Yeah,
some
yeah.
gaps there. So that's horrible.
Yeah, and I can imagine it's difficult as well, because I mean this is a topic as well. It's part of the sort of the increasing commercialization of the industry, and the need for events to generate as much revenue as they can. But it sort of all taps into the criticisms that often they're selling more tickets to the corporate hospitality, to the VIPs, than to ordinary fans. And so the last thing you want then is for those corporate tickets to be empty seats, because it doesn't necessarily reflect well. So yeah. Anybody else have a question for Alex? I think we've got time for one more.
I just wondered in general,
Camera.
what do you see as the next major innovation in ticketing?
That's a very good question. Yes, we have many innovations, because being as a very valuable assets, there are many technology things that are trying to be implemented. For example, the use of blockchain.
Yeah.
I think that's the major advance that I've heard that they want to apply in ticketing, because the way there is a kind of blockchain, because I think they wanted to try to avoid reselling this, uh, to try to link a person to a ticket, and somehow to connect them. But when you resell the ticket, the price is still maintains. But yeah, that's something that is still very interesting. But it's something that it will cause some major disruption in the ticketing environment when it gets completely at received or adapted by major major events.
Yeah, I've been to a match recently that was using NFT ticketing, and yeah, there were some disruptions, I think, to overcome. But yeah, it's certainly, I think, an interesting development.
Well, we've just about reached 3 o'clock, so I think I'm going to draw it to a close, everybody. Thank you, everyone, for those of you that joined, and thank you once again, Alex, for giving up an hour of your time this afternoon, or evening in your case, and but also for the preparation that you put into the presentation. Really, really enjoyable. We've learned a lot, and yes, thank you again. And we will have more of these in semester 2. So I hope you all, I know it sounds a bit early, but we are 1st of December. I hope you all have a good Christmas break when it arrives, and we're all refreshed and for the new year. And hopefully we will have a few more of these in the semester too. So thank you ever so much, everyone. And yes, we'll catch up soon.
Thanks,
Take
guys.
care.
Bye.
Thank
Bye
you.
bye.